So guys, in the last few days, the Hell Let Loose dev team released patch number 8 and gave us 2 new dev briefings to check out. And as usual, there's a lot to unpack here. We've got all the changes in the most recent patch, plus some more info on the next major update coming this month. So guys, this is BillyEatWorld again, and let's find out. Alright, so to kick off, the biggest thing you're probably going to notice about this week's patch 8 is that there's now finally a server queue feature in the game, which honestly is really good news, and I think it's already making a difference to the active player base because now you don't get booted over and over again when you're trying to join a full server, in which case you'd probably just give up and go and play another game instead. The server queue slots are apparently currently limited to only 6, with admins having the ability to adjust this value down if they really want to. I don't know why you would, but anyway. And also, speaking of server admins, well, apparently the devs are also currently working on reserved slots, which should be coming in a future update as well. Now, as well as that, you'll also notice there's been a ton of improvements to the UI and the HUD in this one, and this is something the devs are continually working on. But probably the most useful one I've noticed in this one, though, is that now you can actually see the distance to objectives on the markers in the 3D world, and not just that, but you can also occasionally see the capture status as well, which kind of gives you a hint on which objective you should be going towards when you first spawn in. Also, another thing you might want to check out is the barracks again, because apparently the devs have also added in some new German helmets that you can unlock by leveling up. And apparently they're also currently working on a fully fledged loadout customization system, which is really good news because that's a lot more interesting to me than just visual customization options. Now, moving on, probably the biggest changes that we've seen in patch 8 have been to the offensive game mode, which the devs are tweaking now before they roll it out onto the other maps. And probably the main change in this one is that the attackers can now push beyond the current sector row by another row, which should give us a lot more options for flanking routes than we currently have. Also, on Omaha Beach, the devs have reduced the total amount of strong points and the amount of tanks that can spawn on the first sector row, which is the beach, to only 1. And not just that, but the US team will now apparently all deploy onto that part of the beach, and according to the devs, that should make the landing experience a little bit harder and a lot more intense. But finally, to wrap up the patch 8 notes, as always in this briefing, the devs have given us a few quick little hints at what they're currently working on. And of course, they've also included some info on all the little bug fixes they've done as well. I won't talk about them in this video, but as always, you can find a link to the full patch notes in the description if you want to check that out. As for what's coming next, though, well, we already know the devs are working on wheeled vehicles. They're coming later on this year, and they're working on some new maps. But what we didn't know is that they're working on bullet penetration and a dolphin dive mechanic. And not just that, but apparently from some community feedback, they've also decided to change the Garand sight picture. So if you're a fan of that gun, well, hopefully soon it won't be so annoying to use. Alright, so that just about wraps up the patch 8 notes, but just yesterday, the devs also released a post with some more info on Sainte Mere Eglise. And if you haven't already checked out my last Hell Let Loose video, well, to bring you up to speed, this is the next map that's going to be coming to the game in update number 4 later this month. Now, there's not a lot of new info in this post, but what the devs did give us was the tactical map, and as you can see, like I mentioned in the last video, the center of the map is a big urban area. And all around the town, there's some more open fields for vehicles to fight in, with what looks like some fortifications up to the north, and a row of buildings along the road to the west. Now, as well as that, the devs also gave us a bunch of new screenshots, which you should be able to see on screen now. And most importantly, they gave us a shot of the church, which, like I mentioned in the last video, is the one that a US paratrooper got stuck on during the actual 1944 battle. And apparently, it's going to be one of the main focused areas of the map. Now, speaking of focus points, well, another thing the devs mentioned is that apparently all of the strong points are going to be on urban areas of the map or in the bunkers. So in other words, when they say this is going to be an urban map, they really mean it. There's obviously going to be some areas for the vehicles to fight in, but it looks like the infantry is going to have to do a lot of the hard work. But anyway, guys, that just about wraps up this quick update video. So as always, make sure you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And don't forget, I'll leave a link to both of these dev briefings in the description down below if you want some more info. Obviously, I don't have time to cover every little thing in this video, so please check that out if you want more information. As always, though, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please feel free to check out the links in the description if you want to see any more of these videos. And also, don't forget you can find my Twitter and Discord links down there as well if you want to keep in touch. And as always, until next time, see you later, and have a good one.